Let's get right into it. Number 1. The Dark Ages. When Eleanor married the nobleman, everyone celebrated. She was beautiful, intelligent, and honestly, she could have had any man in the kingdom. But instead, she got stuck with Lord Bartholomew, a man so awful that dinner conversations felt like torture. He belched at the table, cheated constantly. For 3 long years, Eleanor watched other women laugh with their husbands. Then one day, she discovered something. Her uncle was an apothecary, a medieval chemist, and he had access to monkshood, also called wolfsbane, also called the poison that literally nobody could trace. Here's the genius part. Monkshood causes symptoms identical to a sudden heart attack. Chest pain, rapid heartbeat, confusion. Lord Bartholomew started complaining of palpitations. Eleanor played the worried wife perfectly. She called healers, she fussed over him, she even cried. The local physician concluded it was God's will, perfectly natural. Nobody suspected a thing. But Eleanor didn't stop. Over the next decade, she poisoned 3 more wealthy suitors she'd been matched with. Each one, each husband, each a tragic heart condition. Meanwhile, she inherited their estates one by one. She became one of the richest landowners in the region, all built on a graveyard of dead husbands. And she never got caught. Eleanor lived to 82, died peacefully in her sleep surrounded by luxury, and took her method to the grave. It wasn't until 300 years later, when someone discovered her private journals hidden in a castle wall, that anyone even suspected what she'd done. Number 2. Victorian London. Dr. Nathaniel Cross was London's most respected surgeon. He had impeccable credentials, a thriving practice, and an endless stream of patients who trusted him with their lives. When his wife left him for another man, a younger, more charismatic surgeon, Nathaniel snapped. Not visibly, never visibly. He simply started experimenting. In Victorian London, anesthesia was primitive. People died during surgery all the time. The body's failure was nobody's fault, it was just medicine. Nathaniel realized something terrifying. He could commit murder in a surgical theater, and literally nobody would question it. Too much anesthesia? The patient was frail. A complication during procedure? Part of the risk. A sudden infection? Bad luck. So when his ex-wife came to him with a terrible boil that needed surgical attention, Nathaniel agreed to perform the procedure. He made an excuse to send his assistants out of the room, needed to prepare the anesthetic, he said. He gave her a lethal dose of chloroform, not enough to be obvious, but enough to stop her heart mid-surgery. When she didn't wake up, he called the assistants back in, looking devastated. "I'm so sorry. Sometimes the body simply gives out." Her grieving family arranged a funeral. Nobody performed an autopsy. Nobody suspected a thing. Nathaniel operated for 15 more years after that. He never killed again, just that one time, which is probably why he was never caught. If he'd started a killing spree, someone might have noticed a pattern. But one natural death among hundreds of successful surgeries? It just disappeared into Victorian medical history, buried in a graveyard that served his crime perfectly. Number 3. The Roman senator's double life. Meet Marcus Flavius, a senator in ancient Rome with a problem. He had debts, serious debts, the kind that got people's legs broken by hired muscle. He owed money to every moneylender in the forum, and they were getting impatient. His solution? He married Livia, a wealthy widow 15 years older than him. She had more money than sense and a concerning habit of actually loving his new husband. Marcus pretended to feel the same way. He was charming, attentive, romantic. Livia was convinced she'd found her second chance at happiness. 6 months into the marriage, Marcus poisoned her with lead acetate. Sweet lead, they called it. Slipped into her wine night after night. It mimicked illness perfectly. Livia grew weak. Her organs failed. Her physician was baffled. Ancient medicine had no answers. When she died, Marcus inherited everything. Her houses, her land, her investments. He paid off every debt. But he didn't just stop there. This is Jackson, a wealthy senator who competed with Marcus for political influence. Jackson had humiliated Marcus publicly during a debate, mocking his family's new money status. Marcus never forgot. Years later, Marcus invited Jackson to dinner, just a friendly reconciliation between rivals. During the meal, he slipped the same lead acetate into Jackson's wine, slowly, carefully, Over weeks of casual dinner invitations, Marcus poisoned his political enemy in full view of Rome's elite, and nobody connected the dots because it looked like a natural illness. Marcus got away with at least 3 murders we know about, possibly more. He died of natural causes. Ironically, after years of lead poisoning others, he'd absorbed enough lead himself to damage his own organs. The only reason we even know his crimes is because one of his slaves, freed after his death, finally talked.
Number 4. The Wild West Vigilante. It's 1882 in a dusty Nevada mining town, and there's a problem nobody wants to talk about. Young women keep disappearing. Not just leaving town, disappearing, vanishing without a trace. The local sheriff, a man named Deputy Walsh, says they're probably just running off to San Francisco. Can't hold on to women these days, he jokes at the saloon. But this is Alice, a newcomer to town who's heard too many stories that don't add up. 3 women gone in 2 years. All young, all pretty, all connected somehow to Deputy Walsh. She starts asking questions. She visits the families of the missing. She notices something the lazy law enforcement never did. Walsh had been in contact with every single victim. Alice does something extraordinary for 1882. She documents everything. Names, dates, conversations. She writes letters to newspapers in nearby towns. But here's the problem. Nobody cares. Women go missing all the time in the frontier. The sheriff is the law, and the sheriff's deputy isn't going to incriminate his partner. So Alice takes matters into her own hands. She poisons Walsh at a town gathering, a public dinner where everyone sees her serve him, and nobody suspects her because she's just helping out. Digitalis, foxglove, mixed into his stew. It causes a heart condition that mimics natural causes perfectly. Walsh dies that night in his bunk. The town holds a funeral. Alice delivers a eulogy about his service. Nobody suspects her because she's a woman, and in 1882, women simply weren't capable of such things in anyone's minds. The disappearances stopped immediately. Over the next 5 years, Walsh's cottage was abandoned. Eventually, a new settler finds disturbing evidence buried on the property. Bones, personal effects of the missing women. But by then, Alice had long since moved to California, changed her name, and lived a peaceful life. Justice was served, but through murder, because the actual justice system had failed them all. Number 5. The corporate poison. This is Derek, and he's a mid-level chemical engineer at a pharmaceutical company in 1960s America. Derek is brilliant at chemistry, terrible at office politics. He's passed over for promotions constantly. His supervisor, Martin, a mediocre man with a mediocre mind, keeps taking credit for Derek's work. One day, Derek discovers something in his research that Martin steals and presents to the board. It's Derek's breakthrough. It's his years of work, and it's about to make Martin famous while Derek remains unseen. He snaps. Not dramatically, not violently. He just thinks. Derek has access to every chemical in the company's inventory. He knows exactly how each one works, what happens when you combine them, and most importantly, he knows what poisons leave minimal traces in an autopsy. He is a chemist. It's his job to know these things. Martin dies at home. Heart attack. His widow is devastated. The autopsy shows natural causes. His life insurance pays out. Derek attends the funeral looking appropriately sad. But here's where it gets brilliant. Derek doesn't move on. His opportunity comes 6 months later, when the company hires a new director, someone even worse. Someone who immediately steals not just Derek's work, but also steals his research notebook, takes it to a competitor, and tries to sell it to a rival company. Derek poisons this director too. Same method, same untraceable approach. Natural causes, autopsy, inconclusive, family grieves, life insurance pays. Derek kills 3 people over 7 years, each one someone who wronged him professionally, and never gets caught, because he was working in an era before digital records, before email trails, before security cameras. He retired in 1989, lived quietly, and died of old age in 2003. The murders were never connected because they happened in different cities,
different states, years apart. Only in 2019, 16 years after his death, did an algorithm analyzing FDA records in workplace deaths notice a pattern.